Summonings, they're all the same. There's always desperation in the air, thick like smoke. The greed, suffocating. I feel it pulling at me long before I'm called, seeping from the cracks of this broken world. Now, here I am again, called to yet another crossroads in the middle of nowhere. I feel the pull, the desperation, and the greed of the man summoning me forward. Dust blows across the road as I materialize, swirling ash announcing my arrival. The earth trembles beneath my feet, groaning at the insult of my presence on this plane. I glance down at him, this man, trembling in the darkness of the night. There's a tiny bird in a small wooden box with runes and obscure symbols carved onto it. Pathetic. He can barely keep it together. His breath is shallow, his eyes wide with hope. Hope. How laughable. I step forward, shadows trailing in my wake, the air around me warping. His offering lies before me, a creature so small, so innocent, blameless for its own demise. It takes its last breath and barely stirs the stillness around us. I look at the bird, then I look at the man. "Oh my God, it worked! It really worked!" the man exclaimed excitedly. "You brought me this?" I asked, my voice a low rumble, as much a part of the earth as the stones beneath our feet. He's frozen, the weight of his mistake beginning to settle on his face. With the trembling voice, the man says, "No, yes, as a sacrifice to the Crossroads demon who makes deals." Pity. I step closer. He doesn't move. With a flick of my wrist, I press the tip of my index finger against his forehead, my long pointed fingernail pricking slightly into his skin, and a single drop of blood runs down his face. "Let's see what kind of fool you are." In an instant, his life pours into me like spilled ink across a page, and I see everything. His name, David. His existence is small, meaningless, born to nothing, destined for nothing. A string of failures, rejection after rejection. A wife who left him for his one and only friend. A job he can barely hold on to. Dreams that withered long before he even dared to act on them. His days are spent wasting away, screaming at a world that doesn't hear him. No one knows him. No one cares. My lip curls in disgust as I lower my hand. This man, this worthless creature, dares to summon me with nothing more than a fragile bird. I take my time, letting the silence stretch between us until his nerves fray. The wind picks up, scattering dead leaves around his feet. "Well," I say, voice laced with disdain, "what do you desire in exchange for this offering?" He's practically tripping over himself with excitement, his hands shaking as if he just won the lottery. Pathetic. I want to be rich. I want to be famous," he blurts, his eyes wide with greed. "I want everyone to know my name. I want everyone to love me. I want everything," he says. Of course that's what he'd ask for. A man who has nothing, wanting everything. How predictable. I glance down at the bird, laying still in the box on the ground. The corners of my mouth twitch into what might almost resemble a smile, though it holds no warmth. I let the moments drag on just long enough for him to doubt. "Oh, rich and famous, is that all?" I ask, feigning thought. Then I sigh, my voice dripping with false generosity. "All right, since you caught me in a good mood tonight, I will grant you a gift. Something fitting, considering your grand offering here." I gesture lazily at the bird. His face lights up. He's practically salivating with the idea. Yes, what will it be? Money? Fame? What? I cut him off with a raised hand, enjoying the flicker of doubt in his eyes. "From this day forward, you will no longer be poor, nor will you be a nobody," I say. His excitement is nearly palpable. He's ready to grovel, to throw himself at my feet. I smirk and continue. "You will have life itself, life everlasting." His grin falters for a moment, uncertainty creeping around the edges. "Wait, what do you mean?" I lean him close enough that he can feel the cold radiating off of me. "Oh, you'll never age. You'll never truly die. Permanent, anyways. If you somehow get yourself killed, trust me, you will feel every bit of it. You will feel every ounce of pain inflicted on you every time you die, over and over. You'll have all the time in the world to suffer your folly. All the creatures and all the predators will know you and despise you. I pause, letting the weight of my words settle. No man has dominion over life and death of another living creature, not for their own greed and not for their own hubris. So from this moment on, you will spend eternity as the very thing you thought was beneath you, the thing you dared to sacrifice. His eyes widen with terror as realization dawns. Before he can protest, I snap my fingers and he is frozen solid, grunting and groaning in fear and desperation, trying to get away. Wait, what about every farmer and hunter who kills their animals? They eat them too, he says, clearly trying to get out of this alive. Yeah, well, they haven't met me, I say with a sneer. I don't accept your sacrifice, so we don't have a deal. A radiant green light begins to pulse from my hand towards the tiny bird in the box. It begins to levitate, coming up to be placed in my hand. The light envelops the tiny bird with its emerald radiance and begins to pulse. The bird flutters once, then twice, then it flitters and stands up in my hand. Looking into my eyes, the bird stares deeply, and he is whole once more. It gives a couple of test flaps of its wings, and it flies off into the night. I turn to the man, watching his body begin to betray him as he relieves his bladder, a dark liquid pouring down his leg. No, please, he says, as I tap his forehead once more, and his bones begin to crack audibly, bending and twisting. His screams fill the empty crossroads as his spine snaps. His arms begin shrinking into delicate wings. Flesh tears and blood spills onto the ground as his human form dissolves into something less. His legs shatter and reform into tiny, fragile talons. Feathers push through the skin, wet with blood, as his face warps into the pointed beak of a bird. He is nothing more than a small brown finch with a bright green line on its right wing, flapping helplessly in the dirt. The man who wanted everything, reduced to something so small. His former life as forgotten as the dust beneath my feet. I step back, satisfied. May your eternity be as significant as your offering. I'll give him a couple decades to live this way, checking up on him periodically. We'll see if he learns anything in that time and maybe even give him a different opportunity. We shall see. With that, I fade into the shadows, leaving him to ponder his immortality in the only way that matters. Small, powerless, and utterly forgotten for now.